It is Nigeria's independence anniversary today, and President Bola Tinubu has said that for the next 6 months, civil servants described as average low-grade workers shall receive an additional 25,000 naira per month. The president said this in his nationwide broadcast as part of the program of events marking Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary celebration.
On a several sectoral reform to stabilize the economy, there is fiscal and monetary policy to fight inflation, encourage production, ensure the security of lives and property, and lend more support to the poor and the vulnerable. Based upon our talks with labor, business, and other stakeholders, we are introducing a provisional wage award increment to enhance the federal minimum wage without causing undue inflation. For the next 6 months, the average low-grade worker shall receive an additional 25,000 naira per month. I pledged a thorough house cleaning of the den of malvisions the CBN has become. That house cleaning is well underway. A new leadership for the central bank has been constituted. Also, the special investigator will soon present its findings on the past lapses and how to prevent similar recurrences. I have inaugurated a committee on tax reform to improve the efficiency of tax administration in the country and address fiscal policies that are unfair or hinder the business environment and slow our growth. We are increasing investment in micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Commencing this month, the social safety net is being extended through the expansion of the cash transfer programs to an additional 15 million vulnerable households. Our service chiefs have been tasked with the vital responsibility of rebuilding the capacity of our security services. We shall equip our forces with the ways and means needed to perform their urgent task on behalf of the people.
Joining me now to analyze this, the president's speech is public affairs analyst and CEO of Chronica and Associates Akin Fatunke, and also public affairs analyst Bolawole. Gentlemen, welcome to the news. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you very much, Tolulope, and your crew there. I say good morning to Nigerians. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Akin, let me start with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Bola.
I'm happy to be here to join you to wish Nigerians happy celebration. God bless all of us.
Fantastic. So, Akin, I'm coming to start with you because Nigeria at 63 years old, old democracy, but not as old as many around the world, but also considered a young democracy as well. And the country continues to battle a lot of issues. Now, the president has spoken. Let's start with general impressions of his speech, particularly at the time that the country finds itself and the general sentiment around the country as it is. Is this a speech that was inspiring? What do you think?
What I think is that it was a speech, all right, and congratulating us for 7 years of unbroken democracy, whether it was enough or whether it went to the heart of the matter will be a subject of debate. And from me particularly, I will say it has not. Does not mean that it potentially is not harboring elements of what we should be looking out to. It tells me clearly, Tolulope, that for 23,011 days, that's between October 1, 1960 and October 1 on this day, 2023, we have fumbled, wumbled, and we have not been able to administer the very best of the very best to ourselves. So nobody should be in delusion that we have not done well. We used to be very productive. Other countries used to come to us to come and learn the basic tenets of administration. And today, we have allowed all that to go through the window. Revenue to loan ratio, revenue and capacity to be able to repay our loans is off the roof. There's a lot of smuggling out there. There are a lot of leakages, over-bloated governance, just name it. Unemployment is all-time high, and the fault lines that has always bedeviled the Nigeria of a hopeful dream went off the window, particularly in the last 8 years. So we had a situation where we had a comatose, we had an accident, and a lot of blood has been lost. What do? You take some very good first aid, and those first aid will be to stop the bleeding, stop the blood, while looking for ways and means to put some kind of finishing touches in there.
Okay,
Mr.
Akin,
President said yes,
Akin,
we can do it.
Thoughts, please.
We will do
I want
it.
to bring Bola in here.
I believe we should do that.
Okay, I can just hold your thoughts. I want to bring Bola into the conversation because, of course, the indices don't look good. High unemployment, record levels of inflation, record levels of food inflation as well. And we know that right now we're sitting at 24 hours before what is supposed to be a nationwide shutdown by labor organizations. So, Bola, we know that the labor unions are looking at the president's speech today to determine whether or not to shelve their proposed indefinite strike or still go ahead with it. So do you think President Tinubu has been able to address their agitations and possibly temper down on some of the need for that strike that they were expecting, as of now, to kick off tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you. I don't envy the president because his situation is very, very bad. He has inherited a country that is at the brink. And there is no magic that he or anybody can perform in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, in 1 year, even in 5 years. The havoc, the disaster that has befallen Nigeria cannot be solved in 10 years. We tend to forget in Nigeria that it is very easy to destroy, easier to destroy than to build. We are a country of fire brigade approach. We are a country of people that love to cut corners. So when this country was being destroyed systematically, we kept quiet. Now that somebody has come that is trying to arrest the degradation of this country and that is trying to start to do the right thing, we want everything to be done overnight. It is not possible. I listened to the speech of Mr. President. It was inspiring. It was better than his former speeches. He inspired us. He tried to give us hope. He tried to make us believe in ourselves that we can do it. It is possible. But at the same time, he made us realize that the job that we have to do is very, very hard. It's not an easy job. There is nobody who becomes the president of Nigeria today that can perform any magic. Take it or leave it. There is nobody. If it is Atiku, there is nothing he can do that will solve the problem in a day. If it is Peter Obi, there is nothing he can do that can solve the problem in a day. So Tinubu that is there can't solve the problem in a day. This problem will take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice before it can be solved. So and it will take a lot of perseverance on the side of Nigeria, a lot of patience. So I think that what the president has done is to let us understand that we have a task on our hands and that he's ready to do the job. But if he tells you that he will get the problem solved or NLC thinks that this problem can be solved in a day, let the NLC president himself, let the TUC president himself come and be the president and let's see how they can solve the problem. This problem cannot be solved overnight. So I did not see anything that the president has done. I looked at all the platitudes. I listened to his platitudes. There is nothing that shows that this problem will be solved overnight. There's nothing that shows that the NLC will not go on strike, because what has he offered the NLC? You can't offer anything because you don't have anything to offer. This president has nothing to offer because the economy has nothing to offer. That is the situation. That is the basic fact that we must all We must all admit.
Okay, so I'll pick up the thread of the conversation with Akin from there. The president has nothing to offer because this economy has nothing to offer. So, Akin, let's look at the president's speech on economic reform issues like the deployment of compressed natural gas buses across the nation, infrastructure support fund for states to invest in critical areas, providing investment funding for enterprises with great potential, among others. We know this also follows behind the palliative money given to states as well. When you're seeing this sort of building upon in terms of maybe not pure economic reforms, because of course we've seen the managed float of the naira, we've seen the removal of the fuel subsidy, a number of other issues. Now we have finally have a substantive CBN governor replacing Governor Godwin Emefiele. In terms of his speech and the economic direction and sort of the plans he has, how effective do you think what the president has said today will be for Nigerians?
Tolulope, you just remind me of young people say, Daddy, I'm hungry, I don't have food to eat. And at the end of the day, they say, so there's no food in the house. But this young baby begins to see that this daddy or mommy they go out, they come back, they look a bit rotund, they still keep on saying that there's no food in the house. Sacrifice, trust, understanding. And Bola hit it right on the head. We have refused as a people to face the brass tacks. A few key elements in the room. Yes, it's a bad situation. Yes, Nigeria has been riddled with corruption. Yes, like Bola said, somebody now finally wants to come and attempt something, whoever that person is, even if it's an angel, will become a kind of a Satan. However, the basic elephant in the room is that we are not divided. The whole essence of labor going on strike, the other parties not agreeing to agree, is because we do not have a consensus on how we should be ruled. I agree, absolutely, that elections would not have been perfect. It would not have been perfect. But irrespective of the fault lines that we have in religion, the fault lines that we have in the areas of where you come from and all that, will always continue to show. Now, where I am not going to be pitiful on Mr. President is the fact that he said he asked for the job and he has to be able to do it. The trust deficit that has gone out, look, can we begin to look at cost of governance? Can we begin to see you leading by example? I am in total agreement that the focus, like I said, you met a patient that is bleeding blood. Can you stop it? Can you begin to douse it? Can you begin to now find a way around it in a way to try and do a lot of pushing? The palliatives that you mentioned, Tolulope, who's gotten the palliatives? The palliatives are not being gotten because we don't have a data print of how to manage that. We don't even know who we are as a population. I am happy that in spite of it, like I started, a father said, look, I'm going to go out now, I'm going to try and get you something. And so we are going to get 25,000 naira for the lower grade employees for 6 months. What does that tell you? It tells you it's not something that is sustainable. The wage thing that we are talking about is also not sustainable. And what I believe labor is fighting, yes, they know some of these things are not sustainable, but they are saying, we are looking at the other side, we are looking at National Assembly, we are looking at the state governments, we are looking at you, Mr. President himself. We don't see you tightening your seatbelts. And that is sending the wrong signals. Like the SMEs and the MSMEs and the infrastructure funds that he has always been talking about in some of his other speeches, we have not seen timelines. CNG, yes, he said he's going to try and make sure it's done as soon as possible. I want to know what is soon as possible. Where?
All right. Akin,
how?
So, Akin, apologies for interrupting, but because of time, I need to quickly come in here and ask this question to Bola and both of you as we wrap this up. So, the president has spoken this morning, his first October 1st broadcast. We expect to see another 3 during his 4-year tenure. But do you think that there was anything left out? Bola, I'll send that question to you first. Was there anything left out or anything you felt the president should have addressed in this speech that we didn't hear him take on? Bola, very quickly.
Yeah, he didn't talk about the fuel problem. He didn't talk about the fuel problem. He didn't talk about the fuel problem. the fuel problem is the major problem that Nigerians suffer now. The fuel problem is the problem that we face now. He should be talking about how he is going to solve the problem of fuel scarcity. He should be talking about how the refineries will start to work immediately. He should even have visited the refineries. I am surprised that the president has not even paid a visit to any of the refineries. He should give us the confidence that by December, the refineries will be working. It should give us the confidence that by December, we will not be paying through our nose to buy fuel. And that is a major problem. It is that is the problem that is leading to the escalating cost of prices and goods and services. So he has not spoken about that. And I think that he should address that squarely. He should talk about that. Then the president is not talking about how he will bring in the money that has been siphoned. We are reading about people having billions and trillions in accounts. We were reading about how this country has been looted blind. The president should be telling us we are not going to wait until the central bank turns in the report of their investigation. We understand that they have turned in the preliminary preliminary report. What is being done? You are telling us that there is no money. Nigerians know that there is money in this country. That is what the NLC is saying. And that is what my colleague there is saying. Everybody sees that there is money in the economy, but you are not going for the money. You are not bringing in the money. You are just telling us to be sacrificing. And we don't see you yourself sacrificing. You should tell us the sacrifice that he himself is making. Okay. You should tell us the sacrifice that the National Assembly is going to make. So you cannot ask people to make sacrifice and you are not making sacrifice. You cannot say there is no money. You are not bringing in all the money that has been looted. He has to bring in the money. He has to probe the past president. He has to probe the past government. You cannot just leave them and make everything look like a family affair. Those are the things that Nigerians want to hear from him that he's not talking about. Thank you.
All right, Bola, thank you so much. And Akin, I'll quickly get your thoughts on that because as Bola was speaking, he talked about sacrifice, having the president himself and National Assembly, basically political leaders at the top level showing sacrifice, which feeds into your comments earlier about the trust deficit, the cost of governance, as well as leading by example. But Akin, I need you to do this in just about 45 seconds. Is there anything that you think President Tinubu should have addressed that was absent from his speech this morning?
Tolulope, it will be unfair and uncouth for a communications person like me to look at you straight in the eye and look at any other person and say that Mr. President has not touched virtually everything. He has not gone to the brass tacks. He's talking about courage, he's talking about compassion, he's talking about commitment, he's talking about functionality, and he's talking about the armed forces, he's talking about the youth, he's talking about MSMEs. He basically talked about what he has done and not necessarily what he is going to do. But what he has done, can we get the ministers to come out a bit much more robustly and dot the I's and cross the T's? Now, down the line, Mr. President started by saying indirectly that the Nigerian nationhood has come to stay. I agree. However, it is not sacrosanct. We must go back to look at the Constitution, Mr. President, and tell ourselves some of the basic truths about that Constitution that is wobbling and wobbling, and that nobody can work this Constitution and work it well. You started well, I agree with you. Can you now put the noses of your ministers to grind? I'm also happy that you talked about conditional transfer. Okay. You want to take what is gone out of the right hand from the left hand. I like what Dr. Edu has started in Makoko. Can we now begin to look at that and dignify that effectively? Mr. President, a few low-hanging fruits, some 25, okay, maybe 24, maybe 21 female students that were captured up north, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Zamfara. I thought Mr. President should have come and look at that. He spoke to the NLC, he spoke to the TUC, he spoke to NGOs that I respect you. Respect begets respect, Mr. President. If you have read out some of these things that you have done and we are not seeing them in basic stats, grind them, and for each minister, either labor, especially labor, digital economy, the Minister of
we need to put them to work. Akin, I have to apologize once again because time is not with us. I have to go.
I'm talking about Mr. Fakpemi, law and
all right, we'll continue this conversation another time. Thank you so much to Akin, Fatunke, as well as Bolawole, two political public affairs analysts joining me this morning.